What even is Ashura? I'm going to discuss it, and this will include Wano spoilers. So from what we know, this is when Zoro takes on the form of a demon god Ashura, who has 3 heads and 6 arms, and he holds a sword in each head and arm. And we have seen this 3 times in the story. The first time he used it was on Kaku, the second time he used it was on a pacifista, and the third time he used it was on Kaido. And I believe this is still a huge mystery. I've seen so many people boil it down to Zoro just moving fast and he's creating after images, but I just don't see that. And any example of it being animated doesn't exactly support that either. I just think it's called Nine Sword Style for a reason, and I don't think that reason is him being agile. Am I saying he's sprouting all these heads and arms like a monster? No. Because in the Viz translation, Kaku literally calls these visions that Zoro is creating through his sheer will. So it technically doesn't actually exist, but it is visible and it can interact with the environment. And it's not like his opponents are the only ones who can see it. Brook and Chopper have acknowledged it. Each one of these swords is damaging his opponents, and it's doing a lot of damage. But I don't think creating visions through his sheer will is something that's just limited to Ashura. Zoro has seemingly been doing this for a while now. A lot of his fighting style revolves around creating these images of certain animals or beings. He essentially can do this for 1, 2, and 3 sword style. In his fight with Kaku, before he pulled out Ashura, he first manifested this dragon, then a leopard, and after that is when Ashura started to manifest. It seems as though, in terms of these techniques specifically of manifesting his will, Ashura is the peak of that. After Kaido gets hit with Ashura, he reveals that Zoro has Conqueror's Haki, which Zoro was not aware of, and neither were we. But if you look at the attack itself, there is no sign of Conquerors being used. There's no sparks or lightning or anything of the sort. So because he's manifesting Ashura through his will, it seems as though Kaido can recognize Zoro's Conquerors through that manifestation. So this could mean that Zoro could still apply what he used versus King on his Ashura form. And of course, people have already created an image of what that could look like. And I think we could be seeing this in the current arc. If you're not caught up, then I would scroll away. So I think it is very possible that Zoro could be fighting Ethan in this arc. And I feel like it would be very fitting for Zoro to pull out a demon god like Ashura versus a monster like this guy. Ethan might have his own version of Ashura type techniques as well. One of the first sword techniques we saw Ethan use was the drawn sheath technique called Iaido, which, as many of you already know, Bogard was the first to use in One Piece. So I don't see why Bogard couldn't have a technique like Ashura. Remember, bro was fighting the strongest pirate crew at God Valley. So